I was going to lecture at some point. I wanted to lecture part-time at whatever university, ideally Wits. I was going to do the most. I was going to basically fulfill my dreams. After having been unemployed for just 1 year, I would have only struggled for only a year. I would have only struggled for a year. That's when that IQ business, that IQ business opportunity was not the first one that fell through the cracks, but it was the one where I went to the interview to the nth degree, Gabona, everybody, and then it just vaporized. Whereas I also got called by Rand Merchant Bank. There was also a very strong opportunity to go and be a project manager there, very senior level. I was Oyebaton, guys. I've gone to recruitment agents that loved me so much. They were 5 seconds away from inviting me on holiday, only for me to ukuzibwa, ukudotshwa, ukudakwa, ukukutswa. Bangafuna ukukhuluma nam ingathi ngibathukile at the interview. I've had that kind of weird stuff happen to me over the years. They do that to people. They do that to people. So if at all, this here is not an isolated incident, but it's been done to very many South Africans who have given up, thrown in the towel, and ended up, albeit being skilled, very educated professionals. Ba rekisa fela dihempe to try and make ends meet. Ba waita di tables go wimpy despite having matric distinctions A7. Yeah, if there are more like me, long story short, understand that my case, Haki Wina, from what the law showed me, it's going to cause a waterfall effect on the economy of South Africa that's going to literally drain South African corporates of millions of rands in damages that they're going to pay in class actions that are going to get raised up from out of the woodworks based on the precedent that my case is going to cause. That's who I am. That's who I am. And if it wasn't for my very wealthy husband, I wouldn't have even taken up that case because nake khathetse ke batla lo go bala ke batla lo roka mo stulong ke le pregnant ke le mithi ke le mokana ka bana ba ka my third pregnancy funa mina ke bana bantwana nyo relax nyo bloma nyo bogogo sengimdala ngingaka na 40. I just want to go chill, but my husband is going to tsosa, defibrillate, bring back from the precipice of death a case that no one ever thought was going to be raised up from the ground. And people are not only going to lose career wabo over my case, abanye are going to go to Dangani altogether. I told you that others are also facing indictment, are also going to, as a result of facing indictment, decide, hence why he gets a video in, to kill themselves rather than face the wrath of the law, rather than face the consequences. It's what I'm getting at. Yeah. So umuntu onjalo kitla etsang na ka thubo ponyana ya mono batla ngontsetsa lobola ya 10,000 kitla mo etsang mona o tshwantseng a phande hard no ka banke loan ko Standard Bank o lo mpatalla lobola ke tlo etsang abuti tswang mona bana ba bang zamang ka dikokobelo ba tshotse gore nobody's coming for me because ba shebile binary code yak binary code ba shebile di ones and zeros ba shebile fela gore a ke shebelwe. Understand, people who operate in the back end like that, like big brother, like a shadow figure, like some kind of an aberration, get ghost to wankutla. They are exactly like aberrations. They are present in the room. They're eerie. It's a malevolent force. When you speak, you can see your breath in front of you because it gets cold. It also smells like rotten eggs, like sulfur and brimstone, because they're from hellfire. In the room, you can feel their presence. You can also smell it. You can feel their presence. You can also smell it, but you are not going to see them. So you are not going to see them represented in my stats. You're not going to see them represented in my binary code. You're not going to see them as the 1 or 2 or 3 people that clicked on my content. It'll look like no one is watching because they don't watch me from YouTube. They don't have to. They watch me from their big, fat, chunky, reclined, beefy chairs, looking like the penguin from freaking Gotham, and consume somebody from a vantage point where they're being monitored by very prolific Satanists. They get delivered the platter of content from taboo content creators. They don't go to YouTube themselves and stream. These are men and women that are given your videos downloaded and put on a hard drive so they can peruse what the heck is this B word saying, and then decree my orders to their minions. So let's go and think Karabo kodwa your stats say that nobody has watched you across all 5 channels. Download the occult. You must understand, very powerful men are looking at me, and these powerful men and women are running South Africa, and they are running our corporates, and they have cost careers of people like me, and they keep on recruiting because the occult operates on recruitment. Otherwise it does not thrive. It needs youngsters from university, it needs youngsters from high school, it needs runner boys, it needs middle management, just like any authority structure, corporate structure, any kind of organizational structure. It needs people at the very bottom feeders, but it also needs heads. It needs powerful runners of the whole thing. So you are going to find them as administrators at YouTube. You are going to find them as random stupid idiots in Jeffela that are running amok up and down, pushing strange things that you don't understand. Why are you so invested in this thing? musebetsi. So hona le batho ba literally almost like a packed dossier engaga that once I publish or post my content online, bayinikeza la madoda lawa. This situation is so bad that after the last video that I did, I have an 11-part series that I have posted on YouTube, but I have not shared it. I have not published it, so the public cannot see that video, those videos, those 11 parts, and I'm not going to share them because channeling and I'm done. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to delete it either. I even made a joke in the previous videos that I shared that download the videos that get uploaded link to date so far. Grab them, run with them, because that's the last bit of food that you're going to be getting from me. I said in that video that you guys are like ones who are trapped under rubble in an apocalypse, and there's only one person that can feed you over here through some kind of supernatural method. But for now, all you have left inside that dungeon, that bunker, are 7 bottles of water and some salty cracks. And I'm the only one that can supernaturally feed you, and also the only one that can supernaturally set you free out of this environment. The Lord has seen it fit to make me a vessel of your rescue. So seeing as I'm all generous that way, and I don't want you to perish before you make an informed decision about that perishing of yours, I've got content. I literally let them know that I have downloaded, that I've uploaded on YouTube that I have not shared with public society, that y'all can go and download, because that's what you do. When I upload stuff, sometimes it gets downloaded before I even publish, and then after that, watch that, because those are your remaining salty cracks. That's the last amount of bottled water that you have left, because it is within my prerogative and within my court to withhold my content from you by not uploading it at all on the cloud. But once it's on the cloud, whether or not I've published it on YouTube is irrelevant to the occult, because they will access it in the back end, because they've got some minion wood freaking pecking freak at YouTube that is giving them my content before I even publish it. Before, they were willing to wait for me to publish it because they trusted that I would eventually publish it, because they were looking forward to, like, rubbing your hands together before you eat beautiful grub. My thumbnails have got these animated explainers on them. They're very elaborate, and they're also very entertaining on their own, and they tell a story quite voluptuously as to what's going to be in the long form content. So they sometimes wait for me to publish my video altogether, because only at the time of publishing do I add the thumbnail. So they wait for me to create my thumbnail and then want to read, almost like reading a comic strip, the thumbnail before they watch the content. But now I've threatened to disappear altogether without even putting a thumbnail. So now they are just going out on a limb and watching the videos without the thumbnail, because I'm not going to publish it. So they have basically put the horse before the cart. And I had a dream of that 11-part series where I'm speaking about the role of women to men, blah blah blah. You're not gonna see it unless you find my new channels, okay? That 11-part series, body plakolots, and in particular what they were most fascinated by, which not for me per se, I like myself more than I like animation, but that might just be vanity speaking. I don't know. They plucked in particular the animation. They plucked, like uprooting from sefate, some fruit that's yet to ripen, because like apocalypse, but there is a banana tree, and so you eat like hard bananas, because I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't wait for them to go yellow. Yeah, these people went and plucked ripe fruit, not ripe, sorry, mara, unripe, like it's not yet ready, okay? They plucked it because I told them I'm not going to post anymore. I'm done. And I am even the one that told them, go watch it. Go watch it. I've got content that I've already posted, uploaded, sorry, on YouTube, but that is not yet published. I'm Manuelanda, because you know you can. And in particular, my 11-part series, and in particular the animation, where I'm speaking about roles of women to men. This woman that works at YouTube, over file 11-part series yaka, by shebetse, mara they are nibbling away at it, because they know that it's the last little remnants of marenza that they will eat from me. But the last thing that they are ever going to consume from me. So when I say that my case is going to result in a class action response as a result of it being made precedent when I win, it's going to happen. Many more people are going to come out of the woodworks, and they're going to sue companies that let them go 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago. And these companies across the board collectively, the amount of money that they're going to lose from lawsuits that keep on popping up out of the woodworks is going to create such a massive dent in the South African economy. It is going to dampen our economic growth by percentages, like as in something that is observed like 2% or something. Like imagine an economy of a country regressing by 2%. 2% sounds like nothing, but it's huge in fiscal terms. It's massive. These lawsuits are going to shrink the South African economy by a percentage of that nature. Not a decimal point. It's going to be several percent, like 1 or 2 or 3% of our economic growth is going to shrink because of how much our corporates are going to lose money from paying lawsuits. And as a result of paying out lawsuits, there's going to be international scrutiny on South Africa, scrutiny of which is wagging its heads as to the civil liberties of citizens that it has destroyed. What South Africa has been doing to its own people for all of these years. That goodwill from international onlookers, as if though that's not already happening, is going to cause more investment bleed in the country. So that's also going to shrink our economy. We're going to lose international investment more than we already are losing. Because of that, we're going to get frowned upon by the world. We're going to get sanctioned by America and other international bodies. We are going to get turned against as a country because of how people on the ground, lay citizens and lay Joes, are being treated. The whole world is going to be surveilling this gangster country, and it's going to be wagging its head on some, how could they do this? The South African economy is only going to bleed because of, yes, payout in lawsuits, but the resulting aftermath economically, the thing that's going to crush our economy is not so much even the actual monetary size of damages paid out from companies in this country. That's not going to create that dent. What's going to create the dent, like I said, is exsanguination of goodwill on South Africa, loss of foreign investment, sanctions, international scrutiny, and a lack of trust in the country in totality. It's going to put us on a global watch list. It's basically going to be like we're back in the days of apartheid again, where we're being sanctioned for being racist. But instead of it being that, we're going to be sanctioned this time around for never mind being racist against Afrikaners with our strange laws, but we are going to be found as just destructive of the regular South African, be they black, white, pink, purple, or blue, insofar as they don't stand with literally occult gangsters. That's what's coming to this country. So Mina, seeing as I am that thing, seeing as I'm the first domino to tip against all of these monstrosities, angazi whining tela kangaka le bisling shebisise ka banna ba senang tšhelete a ke ba gone ha ba ngone mara ha ba sangzama keng. Yeah, y'all need to understand ukuthi kuphelile ngani. So with that being a thing, it must therefore be understood, comprehended, grasped, enveloped, the general understanding around that I cannot for the life of me marry some guy or sinang tubob. You're not gonna do anything for me. I need a powerful man that knows nations leaders, or at least corporates of company executives across multiple countries. I need someone that can be able to pull in either private or public sector support globally. And my husband has to therefore be a wealthy man. And it is precisely because he's wealthy with that kind of power behind him that he's going to insist that an otherwise very exhausted woman that just wants to relax and have her babies sue. He's going to insist because he's going to also have a similarly gargantuan bone to pick with what South Africa did to its civilians, citizens. Remember, this is a Christian man with a mission from Jesus. And so for those reasons, the hard cry over the oppressed is chilling richly on his heart. And the Lord will have then given him resources to mobilize a setting free of the oppressed in an entire nation, never mind just his wife. That is what my case is going to commence. The Lord is not merely intrigued with setting me as Cran K free alone. He is intrigued in setting the captives free. Imithandazo yabantu basemzansi all over the show that have been getting ignored because of people pulling strings all over the show. Yeah, the Lord has a way of raising a standard against all of these barriers to entry. But I'm getting then to a point, right? People who run these cults, who invite other random lay Janes and Joes into these cults so they can one day run the head of the snake themselves. Celebrity, and then celebrity Beyonce, Jay-Z, literally running all of America from behind the walls of entertainment industry. Barana America, but by 2 by 3. Maraba invite you as what? Think about Beyonce. Let's think about Beyonce. At first we started our coup, taking me places I ain't never been. She started out just some aspiring musician, little girl, what bills. Do you understand? Now today, she is one of the most influential people in the world, never mind America. And apparently, like, have you seen how celebrities at the Grammys or whatever, how they bow down and worship Beyonce, how they apologize to Beyonce for winning awards, all stuff like that. Yeah, that little girl, that little teenage girl has been made a monolithic abuser of the world, of regular Janes and Joes in America. She can snap her fingers and people can disappear. Nobody steps on the toes of Beyonce and lives to tell the story, or career bona ya survivor. They don't rise from the ashes. So people have got to pay her homage. They make a decision as to who is going to be at that level. And even though it might look as if though she's a mere celebrity, a musician in Jeffela, and she cannot influence politics, understand, they put them in positions to also influence the political landscape of a country. So if you start out just being a 16-year-old songstress and then end up Beyonce, you were beautifully groomed to run a country, having started out its darling with an iron fist that can literally snap its finger and destroy an entire future because they annoyed you, because they tried to whistle blow you, because they tried to ABCD, etc. That's how these cults work. So when all these celebrities in this country that are like Beyonce, they're only 16, they're only 14 and 12, they're only 21, they're only 30, they have just gotten that card, yeah, Illuminati, to go and play in the Squid Game or whatever. But out of the 29,000 of them that they recruit all over the streets of Johannesburg, Cape Town, you get my point, there will only be 2 or 3 that will linger for years, for decades in the entertainment industry, ultimately until they strangely also become politicians or become influential over politics or endorse politicians, certain politicians. These people will become billionaires that while other people are one-hit wonders in the entertainment industry, while other people are hit it and quit it in the entertainment industry, Laba have got such staying power that they grow with the industry. They start out by 7 and they still actually getting lead acting roles at 69 as grandmother, even though they started out as son in their first ever acting appearance. But these people will not only be acting, but they will own empires, like production empires. They will run this country from the back end, from the business end of which is lucrative and funds politicians. Politics on its own is not lucrative, okay? It is the backing from the private sector, from the entertainment industry, from musicians, from executives in the entertainment industry that beefs up the pockets of our presidents, of our municipal councillors, of our etc. Why? Because politicians have got to get paid on balance sheets that we have access to. We have to see their salaries. Listen, as Karabo, if I am employed in corporate South Africa, you don't gotta see how much I earn. It ain't none of your business. Get out of my hair, right? But as a politician who runs the country, you are a civil servant and your money is your money is our interest. It is our prerogative because we're paying you that salary. So you can't give yourself too haughty a salary as a president, too haughty a salary as a municipal councillor, too haughty salary as a mayor that is out here squelching the juice out of the little man on the street. You have to look like you care about people. So you can't be beefed up so much, and that's why all of a sudden kuqhamuka imali out of isofa Cyril Ramaphosa at Pala Farm. You have got politicians that are far wealthier than what is recorded on book, because if their true net worth were to be exposed to all of y'all, you would come to learn that your president is a gangster, he is corrupt, and he is too wealthy for what he's done. It doesn't make sense. So they launder it, like Pablo Escobar putting all of his money in the forests or the jungles of Colombia. Yeah, because he cannot for the life of him account for on the balance sheets, on the management statement, or he cannot on getting, what do you call this, in profit or loss, in basically accounting, auditing. He cannot account for it. So twanza pata go di sofeng, twanza pata go di jungling, twanza pata go di kai and whatnot. Ipuma gupi le mali e masofeng. Where is it from? Tšhelete ya Cyril Ramaphosa ko phala e tswa kae? A re bueng, kopa re tlotleng, a re tsweng ka taba. Phinyang di gang tu bua. Cyril Ramaphosa, I understand it does not come from taxpayers. It might be theft from rona, re patalang VAT, eba increasang, cause ba re hlangetse. But it also comes from the bribe extortion. It comes from wealthy billionaires, wealthy millionaires of the country, entertainment executives. It comes from corporate executives, from CEOs. It comes from men and women who are entrepreneurs in this country within the private sector. It comes from abantu that belong to lama cult amaningi that insist ukuthi ama policies ga Cyril Ramaphosa, the legislation that he passes, what he does as a leader, and not just Cyril but all of these other government officials that claim to be clean, like as a whistle. Yeah, that's what's good. Imali zabo eziningi ezifihlwe in jungles and in caskets in sofas ziphuma kulabantu abenamali, and it is because the abantu they basically run the country in their own image. They insist on how the country's gonna go. So whistleblowers like Crank what's good? Yeah, people like me but busy kadi phala on top of the rooftop. Yeah, ngwana batho o tla nantsa thuba mabota antsa tshwata mabota antsa thibana antsa dlalwa with babitsang di setup paintball. Have you played paintball? You know how painful that stuff is. We are actually getting bruises for the next 3 weeks because you paintballed. It's so defeatist. Game yeah, you will get paintballed in the spirit. Ke batho ba go paintballang mahala sa ruri nje fela o sa tlhaloganye gore mara nna ke mang. Who am I? Ekesa nothing, man. Ekesa minion. Ungazongibhora ekesa full stop on a page. You can ignore me. Phehla, move on to the next one. PTO. Please turn over. Kodwa uyayekelwa, uyabukelwa, uyasevelwa, uyajongwa. Sisters, umo batho ba go banqile wena nkare you've been caught naked having sex in public. Uyabhankwa for being umzalwane, uyabhankwa wena for being a whistleblower, uyabhankwa engathi unqunu usheleng, making like Vuyo Mbuli after sleeping with somebody else's wife, and so you come to the news unali blue eye. Uyabhankwa wena for being a baby saying this thing whistleblower. If by a bank for being a whistleblower, you will be someone so negligible, so ignorable, so infinitesimal, grandshap igama lakho akunamuntu okhumbulayo maqedwe bacela 10 times, even with mnemonic cues flailing them in the sky. You're that ignorable or nothing. Mara the way ubanqwanga teng, the way ubanqwanga teng, wape the way ubanqwanga teng, the way ubanqwanga teng for simply whistleblowing. Batla go thibela mabota, batla go kwalla di gate, batla go zama di human sacrifice ritual, batla go kera meriri e batho bazokuzama labantu, and then if they can't honor you, if they can't handle you, bazozama ukukuchadisa to give you a handler. So they will try and infiltrate celebrity yana cute to come here ngama dimples wakhe azokusmilela athi kodwa omupila. That's why I keep on getting a whole bunch of sex dreams with some pretty hot celebrities in this country. It's not that nna ke na le crush go Jesse, it's not that nna ke na le crush go mamang okay ha ke ba shebe jwalo bana bao tlhaloganya, mara the way nje fela nna ke le busy tlof go ditorong le batho grandchapo they don't even think about, I don't even watch their shows. A ke ba shebe la ke ba bugele batho bana. I don't watch enough South African entertainment to be out there like salivating over celebrity until subconsciously it weans its way. It literally just creeps into my dream and I'm out here laying in bed getting pleasured by some hot celebrity in this country. Every woman will want this guy and they will try and marry you off to him because Angamofa husband a hot one of us. It has to be one of us. So they've tried to marry me off to some hot boy in the entertainment industry. They've tried to infiltrate bathong guys. Because I'm just a little stuffy of a cigarette stumpy mo side of the street. Nobody. When now Oziwa ki South Africa fela ha bona ba o screamela ba o kopa autograph ko molo mara o shebane le a kere bang tonetse matlhong ka re ba o letsi hitter ba be ba tlhage dipala. So bang tumpa ka fela bang gava za bang zama ka fela ka di spells tsa bona ba all up in my grill. Abantu lava, they get recruited into the entertainment industry at very early ages, and if they succeed to devour saints whole, if they succeed to devour whistleblowers whole, that's when they grow and grow and grow like Connie Ferguson. That's when they are allowed to just linger through the entertainment industry for these decades. That's when you find these power couples that keep on getting beefed up like Basizane Kumalele Romeo. But not every Miss South Africa. If you think about it, I mean, not every not every Miss South Africa is just all up in everybody's faces literally forever. Something else. Not everybody gets recycled like that, like a hamster on a wheel that just keeps on turning and turning and turning and turning and turning and turning. Yet there are some celebrities that remain relevant from the time they start acting at the age of 2 until they pass away at 88. And when they die, wonke umuntu is bereft because they were pinnacled. They were literally high, still very important in the country. Wonke umuntu is still bugelaring them. They are still judges over the pageant. They are still this, they are still that. Do you know what makes them fade? It is failure to succeed as they get recruited in the very beginning. Failure to succeed. To subdue people like me. That's what makes them get destroyed. Baba for the assignment. They give them assignments, and if they don't succeed with their assignments, they get told to when you're on thin ice. Next thing umuntu is working a regular 9 to 5 in corporate South Africa. I better suitile die because he failed. Next thing umuntu is running just some business in the back end. What's about rekisa makwenya somewhere mara hoverile one hit wonder how man wa recognize na etsa kwaito at some point. Mara asale on the entertainment industry anymore. Akasabonwa, akasenza ama speech, akasakhuluma on radio stations, akakho maintained. Lo muntu, not all celebrities are like this, okay? But a lot of them are. The reason why some of them fall apart while others rise and rise is because they literally succeed to squelch people like me. If at all they succeed to squelch people like me, their organizations keep going. So if at all you fail at a mission to decimate someone that can decimate your organization, now it ceases to be bane leash on them, a timeline like sand in an hourglass to not only recruit but uproot that which can uproot their organization. And if they fail after this hourglass sand is depleted, their careers fizzle off. Their status as celebrities fizzle off. That's why guys, like when they don't succeed, fizzle off. Pearl Tusi, is she not fizzling off right now? She is. They try to reinvent themselves constantly. They want to stay relevant. They want to maintain their careers. But they can't unless they succeed. Ukutulisa abantu that whistle blow their stuff. So Beyonce, the only reason why I like thing is because she has prospered. I don't know how much I dream about Beyonce. And I get chalokani because I don't really know her like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because we're famous, and I was once a very big fan. Maybe that's why and since I once dreamt of her, suddenly I feel like she was knocked out of the way because there's a reason why abantu at the Grammys. Yeah, apologize. When Adele is apologizing to Beyonce, what's going on? When Adele drops a single, her content does better. Her music does better than Beyonce on her first day dropping, and yet she's out here paying homage to that little pipsqueak. Yeah, that's what's good. It's when they get to a certain place that they then become essentially monolithic and the bane of a country's existence, and only God can uproot them. Only God. Only Jesus can uproot them. And when the Lord is like, enough is enough, trust me, also raise up abo Karabo, abi 20 across countries. They will all speak same volumes, and like Micaiah, they will eat meager portions of bread and water. They will bury us in dungeons. But really nobody, like I said, stompisa cigarette. O stompisa cigarette, you are no one. O khatilwe ka teki wena mo fatshe. O create a footprint on the floor. You are no one, and yet somehow ba go blocka. Ba go shebile ba buke engathi wena kwamele uyobhastwa for ino yenzile wisdom. We don't tlhaloganya. That's what's good. So given that Labantu Laba get recruited from such early ages, when then they're kicking the last kicks of a dying horse, they get super desperate, and stuff like what's happening with me happens. Na Joanong he, seeing as these occult organizations run the country, if I succeed in what I do, we are dealing with a change, a paradigm shift. We are dealing with a change of regime, a change of government. We are dealing with a change of the country's look and feel, texture. We are looking at a flipping of an entire model. The Lord is literally recovering an entire country through, like I said, it's inevitably gonna happen in South Africa. Civil war. We're gonna be frowned upon by the planet. We are going to be sanctioned, but hey, why am I saying we? Because I'm not part of you. Nyamba, you promised the world and I fell for it. I put you first and you adored it. Said find my forest and I let it burn, and you let it burn. Sang off key in my chorus. Enough is enough. Do you understand? Nyamba, America, flailing their flag, dealing with American issues because they've got some of their own, but they're not dealing with continental drift like Gondwana land, as in total annihilation as a country, not yet. That's what's good. Not as quickly as South Africa is headed for like just a violent, brutal, devastating civil war. Because once the lowly on the earth discover that this has been done to them in South Africa, kuzolwiwa guys, letlontshiwa ko mantlung lona ko dimension ko ilovo ko Bryanston ko Morningside mo dulang teng lontshiwa lo Molotov cocktailwa lo bewa mataere around you like the days of apartheid, lo chisiwa lo necklacewa la kutwa. You are going to be destroyed. Government mo South Africa, it's going to leave the room the way that the Sri Lankan president left the room, with people out here making like Sia swinging on some chandeliers in his house. You know how the Sri Lankan president Ajahn had a whole bunch of Sri Lankans come into his house and they were like popping toast out of his toaster, they were swimming in his swimming pool, and they were swinging on his chandeliers? Yeah. That's how the South African government is going to exit. Not Cyril, maybe not Cyril, whoever is going to be the president at the time. As you're walking at them today thinking that they're opposition parties, even this government of national unity, it is going to cease to exist. There's whatever you're looking at as the political landscape of the country today is not going to be in existence. Yeah, it's not going to be in existence in the eventual future. The government of this country is going to look like something completely different. Whatever politician is out here tooting a horn on the rooftops today is not going to be tooting a horn on the rooftops then. Yes, there might be some people that have been fighting from the inside trying to uproot the structure that might be able to take up a baton and run with it going forward. But it will not be just regular national democratic elections every 4 years where we are out here changing government, seeing what we can do, fixing stuff up. It's going to be like a what do they call this? I guess this is a state capture. It's going to be a land grab, a take back. Again, what you might call this, like people essentially re-establishing new government. And you know what it's like in African countries where people are sick and tired of an existing government. What's going on right now is it Rwanda? What's happening right now is it Sudan? What's happening right now in all these African countries? They are beschisad. They're debilitated. Absent of people turning their hearts back to God Almighty, this country will not be recovered. I have said it before. South Africa is facing a risk if that is not already a sealed prophecy. But let me rather call myself Jonah, preaching to Nineveh, where their judgment is sealed. But hey, they could turn around. Maybe you still have a shot, but from what I saw, you're not going to repent, South Africa. Absent of repentance, South Africa, listen to this, is going to cease to be a country in the millennial reign of Jesus Christ. It's going to be eliminated altogether from the face of the earth. Because here it is that you're trying to even force Nelson Mandela tried to change into Leila Khaled or whatever, some strange little woman who is a terrorist. They are pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel. You keep on doing all these strange things. And from what the Lord showed me, the South African country in totality, all of y'all, you are going to cease to exist. Those of you who are of him are going to be awarded other nationalities. Like you are in heaven, there's going to be people from all different kinds of kindred tongues. You are going to be awarded other nationalities. I am going to move to the US, and at some point I will be a citizen. Those of you who are born and bred, who are going to die here, however, without this sentiment, and who also are in the millennial reign of Jesus Christ, who also love God and were subjugated to the tyranny of this crazy country, you will be called Israelis. In other words, God is going to give you the status quo of being an Israeli, but God will despise this country and want to move it from the face of his nose, that from the face of the earth, that he is, and in front of away from his nose, because it's a nasty stench, that it's going to be like Edom, Esau. It will not be accounted among God's people. It will not be named among God's people anymore, such that if you come from South Africa and you are a saint, you will be called a Hebrew, an Israelite. You will be called someone that was an Israeli, rather than be called South African. Instead of call you South African. That's how much God is picking a controversy with this country. The situation is that bad. It's that bad. So me, personally, ngizoba America, following which I will then be taken into heaven as an American citizen. As from all the kindreds, the nations of this world in many tongues, I will have come from America. That's what I'm going to be for all of eternity. A former citizen of the US instead of South Africa. That's how much God wants nothing to do with you for now. If at all, taking this prophecy, you were to go to Nineveh and preach, some countries repent, and so God does not pronounce this judgment. God, the way rubbish nonsense. That is the kind of bone that God is picking with this country. It is no wonder, therefore, that there's international scrutiny on you. You're trying to erase me from the face of the earth. Your celebrities are dumb. Your celebrities are, what is the thing that I'm trying to link right now? Defeatist. They are defeatist. Nabo, South Africans, nabo, badali scotch, nemkusha. Nabo, at some point, prided themselves in the streets of Soweto. Hey, it's giving pro kid? Yeah. Nani. At some point, nitandele this country of yours, you were patriotic towards it. Nikumbuli Gandhi Square Vanderbilt, where you were out jagadi blazers alona tediki mazara baki. Linza listener, South Africa kafela lituba pachi, koko Gandhi Square. You remember Scotch le party le mukusha le I'm in, I'm out, Black Man party le all that jazz. Kom panana. You remember to be here even in the days of apartheid. I was watching Hidden Figures. It is a movie speaking about the whole NASA mission to outer space, blah blah blah, etc. It's really very touching. But all I could remember thinking about when I was watching that movie last night on Netflix was, yes, and even in the days of racial segregation, black people was just so much better. Like, they did so much better. Like, life was just so much easier. It was so much easier to be godly. Men were so much more honorable. So, I wish me now I was born in the olden days, even if it would mean I would live through apartheid, because Miss Tandana better, and it was easier. Insofar as fellow I'm getting that you are segregated to be umuntu. Abafazi mebavikelwa ngamadoda, protectwa. Communities were communities, and people loved each other, even though we were striving against racial oppression. Bottom line is Miss Tandana now. In rubbish year 2025 has made me wish I used to live in apartheid or in 60s America. That even though I have to go and drink water from a different tap, use different bathrooms, and I'll just sit at the back of the bus, still people maybe no tando, that made sense. Like Utaraji in that movie representing that woman Velevele in real life. Uchate, she was a widow with 3 children. Do you understand? Yeah, indoda figure with great honor. Do you understand? Yamtata after a widower, right? So biblical remarriage type establishment thing. She was widowed, and so she remarried. And lendota lemchatile azangwa tintumzimba wake until they got married. Like, no sex before marriage. I just looked at that and I was like, it was a better time. Men had honor for imizimba yabafazi. Manje mina ngifunwa ifilasho amadoda bafuna ukuthi mina ngiyobanikeza head because I won't have sex before marriage. I was like nkampani nangapela in 60s America or in 60s South Africa, where I'm dealing at Dompas in Group Areas Act. However, kodwa kuyathandanwa enindoda izofika le jardini izocela umam wam my hand in marriage and pay ilobola without touching umzimba wam. I miss olden days. Kodwa ngilana 2025. I'm here in 2025 where we've got liberties. I can study at whatever university I want to study at. I don't have to worry about not being admitted into WITS for being a black student. Kodwa, in spite of being able to study at WITS, was I not uprooted from Yonale education as WITS by black people? Despite being able to work in corporate South Africa, same jobs as other white people, was I not uprooted by abanye abantu amnyama? Was I not stolen from? Ikamva elinikezwe mina by struggle heroes, hey, abantu that uprooted darkness from the country. Yeah, bangi nikeza umsebenzi ne ability yokufunda further, and then they took it back because of corruption. Ba busy ngeimali in the couch at Pala farm. Ni grand. Like, I proper wish I could have lived in those days. Do you understand? Yeah, but I don't live in those days. I'm here in this nasty gangrenous 2025. I ain't feeling it. But what needs to be comprehended is that batho ba rubbish, ne? Batho ba rubbish. Nankut limaments. There's a rubbish. Yeah. Batho ba rubbish. The culturally di matamatisang mo strateng coursing through veins like hemoglobin. Kids on that are running South Africa, and so kids on that are gonna destroy the economy of this country. Kids on that are gonna cause civil war. Kids, the thing that you did to give yourself imali is dying. Lama celebrities that are happy ugemosha South Africa for their own ill-gotten gain, for their own tubop, in their own pockets, in their own money boxes, ne? In their own little piggy banks. Check how ba destroy South Africa hakana. Ba itulitso wana ba tlo entertainer. They're like Babylon. The sound of harpists, musicians, lyres, tambourines. No, na banza bali busy ka dikatar. In one night, Babylon is gonna fall. Because the Satane, you are full of food and wine, while there is striving everywhere. You know what goes on in Revelation 18, the judgment on Babylon. Le tlhoka fala ilona le khotseng ba meka ba dulang ko Sandton ba bodlang. Ke lona ba tletseng ka kota. Ke lona ba tletseng ka McDonald's. Ke lona ba tletseng ka di samosa. Ke lona ba tletseng ka di beer. Ke lona ba jivang, ke lona ba entertaining bana ba ko South Africa. Ke lona ba creating di shows tsa rubbish ko Netflix called Umjolo. Ke lona ba retsa gore re shebele bo isono, re ntse re shebela di shows tsa boloi. Ke lona ba retsa gore re be dizzy, hona le spirals tsa hypnosis mo matlong. Re shebana le Netflix ntse re streama nonsense ya go proliferate isithembu, polygamy, le ancestral worship le boloi nje fela bo bongata. Ke lona ba proliferatang bo gentsa bo sa rateng bo zalwane. Ke lona mo le fitileng. Ke lona le causes Gaten McKenzie. Ke lona le causes Gaten McKenzie hore a ya go Dubai. A gotle a itse gore yena o tlo re establish religion mo South Africa because go skono go ditrateng tsa go Dubai, and o gotlisa thapelo ko dikolong cause le ntshitse thapelo ko dikolong. Ebe le tlo re tisetsa isono for a television show. Ebe le tlo go tlisetsa isipho for a television show. Le tlo go bontsha nje fela o kuthwala obunyo bo hard knock and give superpowers to the random rubbish tsa disangoma tsa batho ba tlo cover tang taba ya gore go loiwa mo mastrateng ena ha o loya ho monate ho ba moloi. Ke lona le rutang South Africa boloi akere ka entertainment industry ya lona tshwantse re ntse re le shebela le ntse le vuma le lahlela marapo le ntse le causa banyana ba mo South Africa ba be confused to think gore isitembu is okay, polygamy is okay, men that are going to go and take 7 wives is okay. In a country so riddled with gender-based violence, you're going to go and increase the greed of men or an entitlement of men to take more than 1 wife when they can't take care of the 1 girlfriend and the 1 wife that they have. And you are like, okay, you're going to share that one because that you're going to insist that you're going to take as a 2nd wife and then try to proliferate under the common law. Do you understand? Even though we were once upon a time protected under the common law, they're the ones that pay presidents to go and literally sign into legislation. I could fully proper. He's drooling. I want to sign that into law without warning anybody. Expropriation without compensation. And where do you think that comes from? Where under heaven do you think that comes from? The land of some white people in this country. One day Papa Masiro Ramaphosa and something was law. Without consultation, nothing. Gavel down. Abalo protector all over the show. Babangata. Well, Nina, my celebrities, Ane Caesar, president here to Ebole Boli. Caesar, our National Assembly, Ebole Boli. Caesar, our legislature, our judiciary, and our what do you call the executive? Even in all that separation of powers, it's rotten. I get. South Africa or I can see like a rotten corpse. Most of the we all like a corona. They're just chilling there, just like it's written in Isaiah 26, where is it? Isaiah, tribulation, the earth will no more cover her slain. Your dead bodies are just going to be sprawled on the floor. What putrefaction and decomposition. Fertilizer. This is our contribution to the earth. Lona, the president the lands. It's without compensation, making like Zimbabwe. That's what's good. Yeah, Nina Enyenza, their thing. Nina ama celebrities. That Yanza dying. Ne, but two sang as a little beefy, little hard noko, Lena le the breast augmentation in Samatswele aling mona, aling clearly faking Mara, you are duping abantu into thinking you're beautiful. Lona ba, but let's sing all over the show, basing on plastic surgery. Even though evidence all over the show that plastic surgery ages people horribly, you are proliferating nonetheless the plastic surgery industry, even though there's no celebrity that has ever pumped themselves with Botox and a whole bunch of fake noses that came out looking normal on the other side. Marali bizinzele proliferate nonsense because kelona le endosang plastic surgery, kelona le endosang boloi, ka di acting zalona, kelona le endosang the BBL, I already mentioned that. Kelona le endosang taking God at a church, not doing that, well that too, because I mean I get the more against bushiri, la more replacer, la replacer nzalano wa morena just o itapelang shepherd, la lahlela go wena go patala fela bushiri di milione hore pastor ya batho so over Abasa anymore. Abalo sebeta 9-to-5 job, even though God called them to preach. I get you're taking the salary of our pastors, our true men that are sent by God. Linka di salary zabo la di difa di bushir, di difa bo trankedi lebo passion java. Le patala di false prophets, the false prophetess. Ba wa rabishi ko pulpiting, ba to go $1,000 for a blessing ya lenyan. Ke bona ba. Lebarati, singers, you've done that thing. Nebo guys, lebo girls. Listen to them zanzi o walona le ruti lebo loi. Entertainment industry yalona modimo ole apruta ke lona le entertainer ke lona le re ruta nyoko ke lona le re etsang gore tse di rhinoplasty le di breast augmentation ke lona le ntse le re causa hore re ska thabela taba hore motho a tsofala mo lifeng go normal le ba tlogele hore ba gole bana ba bang ha se ke la bona ba sa di ba tsofetseng ba soka maetsa plastic surgery go ba bantle jwang marane lona lisa bana underneath the knife ebe ba ipotsa ha se ba tsofala ka speed nje fela ha se ba look 48 at 32 ebe le re oops askis ebe le mo tlogela motho a teng o tlo covering situation ena nje fela hore I cover ko YouTube mo a so tlo bona ke batho ba bangata, and then you continue to proliferate this rubbish beauty industry. Utlwela lona ba re rutang nonsense lona ba re rutang nonsense. God is gonna uproot you as an industry. Mamela, listen, ke hloka re celebrity they're facing damage nje ngata utlwelang ne di rabios tsa entertainment industry ya South Africa le di content creator. You are A-listers now these days. You become an A-list by simply starting out on YouTube. Bona la sizo kadle ona mo YouTube banza li busy ka di skits tsa gage. Jwanong ke A-list celebrity in the country. So I'm speaking to content creators. And I'm also speaking to the celebrities by actang, ba re tshosang ka di boloi mo TV, ba mannet. Yeah, that's what's good. Yeah, you're gonna be uprooted like Babylon, buggers. Go read Revelation 18 lang kutla. Lona tlhaloganya gore modimo dila jwang ka bona, lona ba di harp, ba di lute, ba di flute, di tambourine, lona ba di katara, ba di violin, lona ba metantsho ba go acta di thespian bo Shakespeare, lona ba go o re kikedeza ka di comedy le ja le tletse mafura mo marameng le nona at the expense of the spiritual health of South Africa. Le causes tse Gayton Mackenzie hore batho nna ke tswa Dubai mo ngwana batho ke bona hore religion ha ntse le busy mo strateng e mona e le hectic. The strata di skonwa gona littering. Johannesburg, it looks like it used to in the days of apartheid. Ha go rapelwa mo strateng. Gayton Mackenzie went to countries like Dubai and some other super religious country, okay? And he was like, I noticed the impact that religion has on a country. So once I'm president, I'm going to go and restore prayer in the schools. Mara Gayton asimzalwane. I get he's a little bit of a Donald Trump. So he's not really trying to restore South Africa to Christian worship, and that's not going to do anything for the country. That's why you're going to face civil war anyway, even if you vote for Gayton Mackenzie, because Gayton is not trying to reinvigorate Christian prayer, God prayer, prayer to the God of the universe. He's trying to reinvigorate any kind of religion, because he goes to Dubai, looks at the Islamic religion over there and how it's gotten their streets so clean, people are so orderly, everything is beautiful, the country, the infrastructure is so like it's killing it, it's top notch. Yeah. They run their country on a God in their own making, and so it's clean. So according to Gayton, between Allah and Jesus, insofar as we all love in a very devout fashion whatever God we serve, right? Except when you are out here worshipping a golden calf as a country, the Lord is going to leave you in a humiliated status if you keep on praying to the golden calf. And Allah is a golden calf in this country. So too is Hinduism, every other religion but for the God of the universe, who is Jesus Christ. It's a golden calf. So even Gayton Mackenzie is not going to help you, because while he might want to restore religion to our country, he is not necessarily trying to restore Christianity. It is not Christianity he's gunning for. He is gunning for all religions. And I mean, a nation divided cannot stand. We can't have a whole bunch of devout, far extremist religious folk in this country belonging to whatever sects of religion they belong to without there being a religious war breaking out. Extremist Islam persecutes Christians. Extremist Hinduism, go to India, it persecutes Christians and Muslims. So Gayton Mackenzie is not going to succeed to bring back all different kinds of religion in this country. And the only way that a president is going to succeed to bring back any kind of protection of a nation is if they bring back some kind of semblance of Christianity. Marane. I get a halatla like a tapel. Let me ha Gayton wa teng ya ka khutlisa ho rapela all over the show to whatever God you might want to pray to. Yeah, he still has to deal with the fact that all that prayer is being squelched, circumvented, and snuffed out by the inferno of the violently wicked entertainment industry that's rotting away at the brains of our children, and now grown-ups too, with them being able to stream on Netflix, albeit SABC choking it up a storm, about to breathe its last, gurgling blood. We are still nonetheless being destroyed by Netflix. We are being decimated by Netflix. Haona show Yamo South Africa that I can never click on Netflix and finish the series, because it is that crass, it is that evil, it is wicked, it is riddled with isitembu, it is riddled with ancestral worship. Even if there is no swearing, it is riddled with a whole bunch of the LGBTQ agenda. It is riddled with compromise, with tolerance. It is of all different kinds of worthless feats, and how it is so full of mockery of the God of the Bible is out of this world. I don't know when was the last time I watched a television show from this country that is covering the Christian faith from a vantage point that is honoring of the faith of Christians. Instead, it's full of mockery. The saint is always just some overzealous mama or freedom from religion, or a religious fanatic, and not dealing with like some crazy child. There is never any elevation of the God of the universe. It's like they're trying to extinct Christianity from South African shores, and there is no far more influential section of a country than the entertainment industry to literally drain religion out of a nation. So what work Gayton Mackenzie wants to commence, he is going to unravel it all together with all our kids out here streaming, getting dopamine fed, out here traumatized by hypnosis from entertainment industry shows, and in wanting to fit in, then follow the grain. So the celebrities dia senya ke Babylon, and the Babylon is destroyed according to Revelation 18. Just in one night you're done for. Yeah, the Lord destroys all of your singing. There will no longer be found among you the sound of the harp, the lyre, the tambourine, the cymbals. There's not going to be any sound of a flute found among you anymore. You musicians and you actors, you thespians, you actresses. Yeah, that's what's good. You will have snuffed out your own country from the root. You will have destroyed South Africa by proliferating a very satanic agenda. You will have decimated Hlongwane from right behind television screens. You will have dialed down an entire nation with your rubbish acting. Okay. You will have come to global standards in terms of the quality of your entertainment, and so therefore wagcina utella jaka America mamela. America lona yatella mara ke mo ya repenta ka je ko no di lasa ke. They look to be doing a different thing because Joe Biden obarabazitse so much that they ended up doing a little bit better for a minute. Mara le bona, they have ruined this whole world ka entertainment industry. Le influential langu dintswa. Le influential ha botloko hampe, and so la re senyetsa ha le sa di kena taba tsa real OG South Africanism. Halesas bale taba le ne ke apara blazer ya go lenga e tshesang ka letsatsi ka winter le ka summer e batang ka winter sorry mara e tshesang ka summer. It's like you can't catch a break at the blazer tsa mo South Africa. Le nna go Gandhi Square le nna go fane ke hopola ha ne sentse le Van der Bijl le ska tlongpor le nna ke tswada le nna ke pora ko Love Street kopa le ska tlongpor ha ke ta mo be le tlonka ne le long pe ya hona ko Love Street ya teng ke lo rasetswa ke di bus under a CCMA case e ke tlo iluzang le ntelletse a ke le tletse ka nonsense le rubbish and cheka dinta tshwantse re le ntshe meriring a ke lo tlhatsiwa cheka shampoo because you have ruined the country. And it is you guys that belong to these cults that give you entertainment careers. It is you guys that belong to cults that give you business deals, entrepreneurs. It is you guys that become runners of organizations. It is you guys that belong to cults that will have been responsible for the destruction of the country. I have to put this out there very early on. If you are a celebrity involved in the mutiny against the country, kopa uska to red boraga pa kopa uska to mancha ne osi ya buti. Don't riot ne wena wa khwetsa show ya go bola on TV. Ke kopa nje fela le tlogele di placard tsa lona le di marker di sharpie tsa lona le tlongola sign and so therefore seek for any kind of recovery from a very corrupt government. Kopa let's go complain like how things are being run by our government of national unity or ANC Hlongwane or EFF or IFP or whatever. Ngicela ningazozibhora ngoba nisebenza nonke ndawonye and niphatala ama politician in ways that we can see on the balance sheet. Asiboni ukuthi lama assets avuzawo out of the country avuza from where and why these people banamandla angaka even though nobody can account for ntwadula ngoyona ka salary re mo patala yona as taxpayers. Okay, le patala di selebo se re le ramaphosa gore ba lonka the land of magowa a ke le di rubbish ha ke ta mo ebele lo mo supporta, you rally behind him and then you tase abantu basemzansi lana with your hypnotic spells with a metronome aje going click ngwana batho I get her into a very deep trance abalo trenda ali thusa go trenda ko Twitter hore kopa nte fela lo ga ganga ke soccer ball Donald Trump ke striker yena wa soccer and go muthiba tsheka khune Lord trendisa South Africa kaofela after bewitching the whole country, the country of which is bewitchable cause le bona ha ba rate modimo a kere ba fake ke di lukewarm a kere le bona ba bata a kere le bona ha ba le tshosi. That's why the channels tsa bona go YouTube di gola ha ba le tshosi until le kopana le Karabo and you're like hey o itse keng o se gona go ntsha ka go tswa pele sphinya and I'm like me first you keep on naqala ningazongkhenya la emgaqweni ever ningazongbhora Hobora is not something that we're doing, not today, not tomorrow, Grandshop never. Haletlong Kenya guys. Kolenza and Halizwile lo remain out. Ngare penti ele ekima. Ya go floatisa, whoops. Mabitsang bonga. Ele ha nya go swimming poolung. It makes like a life buoy. E go keep that afloat. Ele ngare ke le rile ngwana. Go kileng ke ngona kontshatswa pele be le dule jwalo mo ezing. VPL ha e tlo bonagala lo bonagala go to ba le any groove of a penty line. Like hard knock, no, not even any of that guys. Lodila mo ezing the way that le dula mo mantunga ngwana. Kurmetsa everything dog, everything. Obana feel like cute little bubble rings just at the beginning of the legs. How obani even an iota kere le namanyana ya lerago haletswe because tshwantse o lo khurumetsa ezi ya ngwana ka fela e feletse hore e lo khotha moroto le number 2. Yeah, tshwantse o thole like le la go khurumetsa kaofela ngwana batho a ska thola anything on the sides. The way ko lentshang ka teng tswape e keneng e groovileng slap bang in the center of the nether, like in your buttocks go ntsha tswape ya teng and your bloma around the ring of your legs. The way that le leri la ngwana le blomanteng ha go tlhaga ke re le VPN ha yo bonagala mo bokateng gore wa bere panty enang the visible panty line yo dula jaka le leri la ngwana a ka ta o lentsha ka ha so betting ka ta o tswa ka yo khurumetsa mmele go fela gore there won't be even an iota of nakedness left. Ha go tswa pe on the left butt or the right butt, not even a one. Nyo khurumetsa ezizenu zonke kaofela di fellets nka re ke bonga e rukilweng ke nkgono e ha ba ka o lahla go swimming poolong wa ka o tla remaina afloat the way go tetseng moya ka teng ka mo hare ha le sa tlo apara di G-string la nkutla bongono le balang. When I'm done with you lo apara malere la nkutla because ha lena self control. You cannot operate in a silo and it will destroy an entire country like this and think that because you're going to live in a generation that's going to pass away before South Africa is ruined altogether, that you can selfishly sort of leave your children a desolate wasteland to live in.
Exactly. Wow.